Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we are getting exclusive access to an all-new 2020 Ford F-350 in the limited trim package. And yes, the F-350 has just broken some insane records, 475 horsepower and then 1,050 pound-feet of torque. It's insane. But as always, we're gonna do a quick walk around on the truck, then we're gonna take it out to see how it drives. A big shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo, Utah for providing us with the F-350. Check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a new Ford. Under the hood here, we have Ford's 6.7 liter Powerstroke that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission now, and power outputs are absolutely massive on the 6.7 liter Powerstroke, 475 horsepower, and then we've got 1,050 pound-feet of torque. So now we're going to go over things on the front end of the F-350, and this one is finished in the new silver, which is iconic silver. It looks absolutely fantastic in person. But going up to the truck, we can see that we've got the Super Duty logo right there on the front. Got these nice bulges at the top of the hood, make it look super muscular. And then at the rest of the front end, we've got these full LED lights, and you can see that they look a little bit different from what they were last year, essentially, so we can kind of turn them on. They're still like that same square look, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just, there's something, I think it's just this little gap here, something that looks just a little bit different than last year's truck. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, you've got little fog lights right down there, tow hooks at the front, Ford logo at the front as well, and then you can see that kind of like little guard thing at the bottom. But let me step back so you guys can get one more look at the front end of the Limited. Coming to the side here, we've got 275mm tires on 20-inch rims, which is pretty standard setup for a heavy-duty truck like this. And then I'm going to give you guys kind of like a look in the front suspension here. We've got the Limited F-350 logo right there. You've got the 6.7 liter Powerstroke logo. You got the massive trailer mirrors that come with this truck, so tons of visibility right there. And then I'm going to kind of step back so you guys can get a full side view of the F-350 Limited, which I've got to step really far back to get you guys a full view. So here is our key fob for the F-350 Limited. You got a couple functions. You got your unlock, your lock, remote start, and then your tailgate drop. So if we press the lock button and then press the remote start button twice, starts right up, and we'll pop over to the other side so you guys can hear a little bit with the exhaust. They still do those two exhaust tips, which looks pretty cool at the side. Now if you press it again, that'll shut off the truck, and then we can do the tailgate release. So you press that function twice, and then that will lower down the rear tailgate. This one already has a bed liner from the factory, and we can kind of zoom out so you guys can see the whole setup. This one does have the fifth wheel already put in there, also from the factory. You've got LED bed lights right here to the side. You can see you've got plug-ins on that side, more LED bed lights. This one is the longer bed, so you guys can see just how massive that bed is. I know Ford review is complete without going over the bed step, so functions just the same as it used to. So you got the little step, and then you have this handle that you can pull out so you can step up and into the bed. It makes it super easy, and then when you're done with it, you just have to load that back up. And then actually picking up the bed, it is weighted to an extent with that, but it actually feels lighter again compared to the last generation. So, or not last generation, but last year. You know what I mean, guys. So let's finish things stylistically on the back. You can see you've got the 4x4 badging right here. You've got the full LED lights in the rear, and then obviously one of the sensors. Limited across the back. It says Super Duty. Got the giant receiver hitch, parking sensors on the back. And then let me give you guys kind of like a 3/4 angle on this new Limited F-350. Now coming to the rear, we've got the door panel for the rear on the F-350. You got this nice leather padding. You've got the kind of like trim right there with the stitching and more leather. It's actually, seems like there's more leather here than last year. Now, obviously I gotta move my backpack out of the way, but you can see the seats here in the rear of the F-350 Limited. You've got the nice Limited badging on the back, and then these seats are very, very soft. I mean, you can see just how soft they are. You just sink into them, essentially. But if we finish things up in the rear, we've got heated seats back here. We've got a couple charging stations. You got this nice trimmer on the vents, cup holders up top. You got the pockets for the rear, and then you can pick up the seat for extra storage space underneath the seat as well. And then we're just gonna take one more look at the rear. We've got keyless entry in the front, so one touch to lock it and then to unlock it. Just put your hand on the back of the door handle. Notice when I open the door, running boards will pop out. And if we look at this door panel here in the front, we can notice again, you've got more of that nice leather with the contrasted stitching. You've got the nice trim in here with the little door handle. You've got your memory seat functions, your lock and unlock, window controls, mirror controls, as well. And then you can press this little button and that will kind of like extend out the mirrors. And then we've got these seats for the front here, and I really like the look of the seats in the front. So again, limited, and they've got these cool kind of like little cuts with the stitching that kind of add to the design, but again, soft. You guys can see just how soft these seats actually are. You got the full power adjustments there on the side of the seat. Pedal layout is just down below. You got your parking brake right here. That's to drop down the tailgate. Your power adjustable pedals. You got all of your light controls, fog lights, cargo light right there. And then the steering wheel is automatically adjustable, so you just got to press that little button to move it up and down. And then here's one more look at the front cabin. Start up the F-350 Limited. Put your foot on the brake, push C, push start. It'll say built Ford tough, and everything will come to life. Now here is the steering wheel on the F-350. We can zoom in. We've got the Ford logo right there in the center, volume controls on the side, and then down here you've got your voice commands, phone controls. This is for the adaptive cruise control, and then that keypad's for the center. Nice stitching on the steering wheel. The steering wheel feels softer. They've got this nice trim on the steering wheel all throughout as well on the Limited. And then you've got your stock to obviously do the windshield wipers and then flash the high beams, and then you've got your actual stock for the truck. So you can see that you can press this for the drive modes. We'll get into that later, but you do have that if you want to change the gears yourself. It does have a manual shift mode for that 10-speed automatic. We've got all of our gauges here, so you can see that you've got the speed on the right side. On the left side you've got the RPMs, and then you've got that little center stack. It is just like all of the other upgraded F-Series trucks. There's nothing too crazy going on, just like everything else, but you do have the drive mode, which is pretty cool. So you've got the normal, you got the tow haul, you got the eco, then you got the slippery, and then you got the deep snow, and then obviously it'll put into 4x4 when you go through. But you just have to press that button in at the top to go through the mode. So that little button right there, you just press that in and that'll shift between the different drive modes in the center stack. Now I've got our center display right here. Diesel exhaust brake up top, you got your stability control, hazard lights, lane departure assistance, camera system, which, let's get in the camera system first. So we press that camera button. We've got the bird's eye view, and then you got the frontal view right there, and that's all that will give you. But if we pop it into reverse, we got the backup camera again, bird's eye view, and then you can zoom in on the receiver hitch, and then also there's that little camera button up top there. Now I can go through that to go through different views on the truck. So you can see there's a bunch of different views. You can get like a little cargo camera to line up with if you're, you know, trying to put your fifth wheel hitch up onto the truck, and then you can get auxiliary cameras, and then even side cameras as well, and then you can move from side to side with that side camera with just those little arrow buttons. Now going over the rest of the infotainment system, you still got your regular climate controls in the infotainment system. Ford kind of upgraded this system for 2020. Response time's a little bit better, and if we go to the seats, this is going to be the fun part. You got your seat settings right there, is covered by the tab. We've got the massage function, which now just turned on, and this review just got 10 times better because I'm getting a massage while I'm reviewing the truck. Navigation function on it. Other than that, it's just like all the other upgraded F-Series trucks. Now transitioning down to this little area right here. On the side right here, you can see we've got a little power outlet and a 12 volt. We've got all of our analog controls for the radio. Down below, we've got our analog controls for the climate controls. And then over here to the side, you got your kind of drive mode select. So if we zoom in on that, see it says 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. You got your locker in the rear. Trailer brakes are integrated just right there. We've got the trailer backup system. And then if we kind of come into this whole area right here, you can move back this little panel, and then there's extra storage space, and then also wireless charging is in there, and it's actually really nice to the touch. Cup holders are right here. Or, sorry, not cup holders. Storage is right here. Cup holders are next to them. Don't even know what I'm looking at, guys. And then if we flip over to the actual center console, it says limited at the top. The leather on this feels very, very premium. And then opening up the center console, tons of storage space within the center console. Yeah. I've got the glove box. Again, we've got this really nice leather above it with the stitching. Open the top part up, and then we can open up the bottom part so you can see how much storage space there actually is. I like that trim on the outside too that says Super Duty. Now up top is pretty cool. You got all the auxiliary switches just like what my Raptor has. I think it's a really cool touch. You got the power rear setting window, so you press that, that'll open and close the rear window. And then note that this does have a suede headliner, which feels really nice to the touch. Actually, it's a lot softer than I remember when I touched the last headliner on an F-Series truck. And then you've got the little sunglass holder just right there, all the controls for the sunroof. It is a full panoramic sunroof here in this F-350. Before I wrap things up, I actually want to say that I'm pretty impressed. I feel like they've done some strides to make the interior on this nicer. I like all of the leather on the dash. It's really nice. All of the accents around the vents, everything. It's actually pretty premium. But that all being said, how much does this F-350 Limited cost? And wait for it, I feel like a lot of people are gonna say as much as their first house, which is probably the case. $90,000 is the sticker price for this F-350 Limited with all the options that it has. That all being said though, let's take this F-350 out to see how it drives. So before we start off in the 2020 F-350 Limited, let's talk about visibility. You can see visibility of the hood is identical to what was in the 2019 model year. It's pretty easy to see out of. And you can see the massive trailer mirrors on the side. And then we've got John over here. Go subscribe to his channel. You guys saw my post, so go subscribe. But then you can see everything throughout the rear. I mean, visibility in the F-350 Limited is insane, but let's set off now. So initially setting off here in the F-350, we can talk about road noise and ride quality. The ride quality is actually really smooth. This is definitely smoother than the other trucks in the 350 or 3500 segment. And then in terms of road noise, it's actually pretty minimal. I hear just a tiny bit from the tires, but it's really, really minimal. And you do hear a bunch of nice sounds from the Powerstroke, obviously, which is what you want to get when you are driving a diesel. Now let's talk about steering quickly. The steering is very light, but what I noticed is the steering seems more direct than what it was before. I'm not sure if they actually tuned anything with the steering rack, but what I'm noticing is I don't have to put as much input to actually turn the truck, which is really nice when you have a truck that is this massive. So we're gonna get a little acceleration here quickly. Spinning a lot, actually. So you guys see the numbers, 475 horsepower, and then we've got 1,050 pound-feet of torque now, and it's a lot. I mean, most diesel trucks, when you floor it, you don't get any tire spin at all. And I mean, this thing is just absolutely insane. The fact that you get tire spin and it's faster than any other truck in the segment right now, I can tell you that. Now to wrap things up with the driving impressions on the F-350 Limited, I am extremely impressed. It was cool when Dodge released their truck with 1,000 pound-feet of torque, but now that Ford has this, they've got way more horsepower than the Dodge. They're up 75 horsepower and they're up 50 pound-feet of torque. I mean, it basically speaks for itself at that point. And so, I mean, if you are in the market for a heavy-duty truck, the Ford right now is going to be the most insane. It has more power, more torque than anything else on the market. And there we have it, everyone. The 2020 Ford F-350 in the limited trim package and also finished in iconic silver. That all being said, if you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you think, and then a big shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo, Utah for providing us with the F-350. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.